What's up guys, it's Tioli TV here. Today we're going to be doing a Photoshop tutorial. We're going to be showing you how to do an overlay for a basic Twitch stream. Nothing special, just a quick tutorial. So you guys may have noticed I do a bit of gaming on the side. Now the channel that I'm going to be doing is purely just going to be like tech based. I am contemplating doing a second channel purely for the gaming, showing you guys what I do just in my spare time, just so you guys can see the stuff that I tell you in the tutorials. You can see how I use it in day-to-day life when I'm actually streaming on Twitch or when I'm just editing a few videos for myself. Now to get started, obviously these are going to be created in Photoshop. I'm using the Adobe CC version, that's the Creative Cloud. Now, there's not really much to discuss about it, so we're just going to jump straight into it. So the first thing I'd recommend doing, if you actually stream on Twitch, now most people will downsample their videos to 720p. I myself use OBS, that's Open Broadcast Software, and I do it in 1280 by 720. That way I don't need to downscale it from full 1080, because when you do full 1080 you tend to get a few buffering issues for people with slower connections on Twitch. So what I'm going to be doing here is a 1280 by 720. So we just want to do a new one, but the first thing I'd say is go and do film and video from the preset menus after choosing new. Now under here we just want to obviously set this down to HDTV 720p. So this is 29.97 720p here. Now this is the one we want to choose. Now we are going to actually set this to transparent because that's what I'm just used to working with. You'll notice the preset changes to custom, but that's just because you've amended a part here. The rest of it leave as is. So the first thing you'll notice is we've actually got some guidelines here which we can actually use when we're doing the actual shape that we want for the overlay. So that's actually going to come in quite useful for that. And then after we've done the border, or the actual like the top banner part that we're using for the overlay, we can then put some text on it. We can mess around with effects and stuff like that later on, but just for this tutorial I just want to show you how to quickly create something useful. So obviously for this we're not going to be using the guidelines too much, but I will show you how to use them because as you can see you can just move them around freely. So basically the first thing that you want to do is to get a background image from the game that you're going to be doing the overlay for. This way you'll have a reference of what you're actually trying to sort of design around, so you're not sort of impacting the actual screen when people are viewing your stream. So the easiest way to do this is literally just going straight to Google Images, and then from here you can literally just type for anything. So if we just type, I don't know, let's say Call of Duty, there we go, new one, so Black Ops 3, and then let's do gameplay, and then we want to see if we can actually find one for the if I can spell correctly, of the right size. So we're just going to put in 1280 by 720 at the end. And we're going to go straight into images and let's see if we can find some first person. You can see in the bottom left it will actually give you the view. Straight away we've got 1280 by 720. So we'll actually grab this image. So we're not obviously going to be using this image for anything else, so we don't have to worry about copyright or anything. We're purely using this for reference. So let's actually save the image as, let's go down to our folder. So let's just quickly put this in tutorials. So from here we're just going to call this background reference. Let's save that in there. Okay, that's pretty much it for Google. So back to here. Okay, so we are now just going to go to File, then we want to place embedded. And then from embedded we want to go to where we've actually saved it. So we saved it here. There we go. Now we just want to place this in. There you can see it's the right size because it's fit exactly straight away. We've already called it background reference, so of course it's been named that. So obviously, yep, that's all correct size. You just want to confirm that. Then as that's just going to be a reference, we want to do a new layer. Now this new layer is going to be the overlay, so the actual border that we're going to be using. So nothing special, nothing amazing. Now we want to basically bring one of the vertical lines, we want to bring that down to the middle. Now you should see, as we're going across, you should see that like snap into place, like so. So we know that this line is directly in the middle. Now we don't want our border to be massive or too impacting. We just want a little pull down bit essentially to come across and then essentially be our sort of the bit where we can put our name. So when we're just going to adjust this, so this line here is just going to be the thin top bar, and then it's going to drop down towards this part here, so we can actually put our name onto it, and then that way people will know who they're watching when they're watching it. Now the other guidelines, they're not important, so we can actually move these out of the way and actually concentrate on what we're using. What we will actually use is use an extra one, just so we know where we're coming down. Okay, so if we come down about here, and then yeah, that should give us plenty of room there. Okay, that's going to be fine. Right, okay, so like I said, we can just move the rest out of the way. Now for this, we're going to be using the pen tool. So what you actually want to do is obviously just make sure you've got that selected. Now with the pen tool, obviously I'm using Windows, so you want to hold down the Shift key. It should be the same command on Mac, but don't quote me on that as I'm not a Mac user. Now whilst holding down Shift, this is going to basically join everything up as we're going through it, keep the straight lines as well. So we're just basically going to click once here, then we know it's going straight across to this link here, so we want to click again here. Now I just want this to drop down a little bit, so this will try give an automated line for us. So that's where to come down. Now we can use the arrow keys just to basically readjust this. So I want this to come down to this line. Whilst I'm actually adjusting this, I'm not holding down Shift. So I've let go of Shift, and then when I'm going to be clicking and finishing off the lines, I'm going to go back to holding Shift again. So we're just going to click once more and bring this halfway. Now instead of actually continuing on to this side, we're going to do the easier way. Basically we're just going to click up here off the page and background, and then we're just going to complete this. Now that's actually complete, so we just want to fill this with a basic color. So we're just going to go for black, just so we can actually see it. Now from here, what we actually want to do is duplicate the shape that we've just created. So just going to go to duplicate layer, obviously shape on copy, doesn't really matter what it's called. Now from here, what you want to actually do is basically flip the shape that we've created. So to do this, you would just want to go to edit, then just go down to transform and flip horizontal. Now as you can see, it's actually created it here. You can just see the little pattern that we made over here. So we just want to basically bring this across to the other side. So we'll bring this all the way across. Now if you actually hold Shift, so I'm just holding down the left Shift, if you hold Shift whilst dragging that across, that'll keep it in a straight line. So I'm actually trying to pull it down, I can't, it'll just keep that in a straight line, and that makes it a lot easier when we're moving across. So now we've got that lined up across there, we actually want to merge both of these shapes. So if I go down to here, hold Control, and then highlight the second one, then from here I can right click, and after right click I can then just go down to merge shapes. So these have now just become one image that we can see. So there, if we just move the lines away just so we can get a clearer image of what's going on, so we'll just move these out of the way. So there you go, we've just created a very basic shape basically, which is going to be the overlay over a game. It doesn't impact on this map for Call of Duty, it doesn't impact on anything else that the viewer can see. So now we just want to make it look a little bit better, so make sure obviously you've got shape 1 as highlighted. Then from here you want to go down to the effects or blending options basically. Now under the blending options menu, we basically want to give a stroke. Now in the stroke options, we're basically just going to give this a bright color. This will give a line around it. Now obviously we don't want it to be that big because it doesn't look too great when it actually goes onto Twitch. I'd recommend 1 or 2 maximum. So there you can just see the difference. There's 1 and there's 2. I tend to choose 1 for that. So that's all I want to do under stroke. And then I just want to give it a drop shadow as well. The default one's a bit big, so we're just going to change the distance to 3 pixels and the size to 3 pixels as well. That then just gives a little bit of a drop shadow going across the map. And then that's it done for the basic shape. Now from here, this is basically the basic overlay already done. You've done the shape, you don't really need to do anything else apart from add the text. The text you can literally just do whichever you want. If you want sort of actual text, or sorry, font effects, we can go through them in another video. But for this example, we're just going to end with Tioli TV here. Let's resize this so it fits. Let's just do 35. And there you guys have it. That is the overlay for Twitch done. The most important thing to remember here is when you go to save it, ensure that you actually hide the background reference, because otherwise your viewers won't see any of the game. So you just want to hide that, and then when you go to it, save as, and then I'd recommend saving it as a PNG that seems to retain some of the better quality rather than a JPEG. The JPEG would tend to be pixelated. So after you've saved that, then literally you can add it into OBS. I can always cover that in a future tutorial if you guys want. Any questions you have on it, just drop a comment below and I'll get back to you guys as soon as I can. Happy to answer any questions, happy to assist if anyone's having problems with Photoshop as well. Let me know, and until next time guys, thanks for watching.